Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee and Time on ON, AM, and FM. Tuesday morning, it's August the 29th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. Linda Tebow is here. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning.
And Ed Carew from the Carew Investment Group. Good morning, Ed.
Hello there.
And as we mentioned a little earlier, we'll be joined at around 8:30 by David Cicilline. He used to be the congressman, but now he is the CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation. And we'll be talking to Dave when he gets here roughly around 8:30. But first, it's time for a first message from the Carew Investment Group. So we'll give it over to Ed Carew.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. Our telephone number is 765-8880. And if you're looking for an investment firm that puts you first and works hard on your behalf, I'd like you to consider us. We're right here in Woonsocket, and we've been in business since 1987. So you don't have to go out of town for an experienced advisor or work with an advisor based in Boston, New York, or who knows where, probably someone you're never going to meet. And we encourage our clients to come to the office and sit down with us as often as they like. Why? Because we like to do business the old-fashioned way. We want to get to know you on a more personal basis so that we're more attuned to your financial needs. So if you are interested in speaking with us for a free, no-obligation consultation to find out how we'll invest your money, you can call me or Paul at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, Ed, thank you. Well, over the weekend, I was kind of sort of paying attention, but not entirely, because the feds were meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Oh, that's right.
And I was with my family members, and one of them said, "Oh, look, the feds are going to raise the interest rate." And I said, "I don't think so." Because I was thinking, Ed said, "Well, they're not going to do it this time." And but I guess, I don't know, Powell was talking strongly that he wants another interest rate hike. Is that what took place in Jackson Hole? What took place, Ed?
Powell was somewhat hawkish, meaning that, he indicated that additional rates may be needed,
Okay.
that inflation is still too high,
Yes.
but that we are data dependent on the numbers coming out, and we realize that we have made a lot of increases over the past year, and most of them or some of them are still in the pipeline and haven't taken effect.
Okay.
Okay? So he did not say that we are going to raise interest rates. I'm not saying he's not going to raise
right.
interest rates. I'm just saying that the interpretation that you were given was not what he said.
Okay. The other interpretation I got, and then just see, you can either say, nope, that's wrong, or no, it's right on the money. But the reason they keep that they're raising the interest rates is in an effort to reduce the cost of housing or homes. Is that what they're trying to do? Reduce how much homes cost by raising the interest rates? It's just not working. Tough to
No,
tell.
that's complicated,
Okay.
This is not a
It's not a yes or no
30-second.
way.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yes, sir.
They're raising interest rates to slow the economy, and it ain't working.
All right.
But inflation has come down from 9% to 3%. Their target rate is 2%. Now, to get back to your original question, is about housing.
Home prices,
By
yeah.
raising interest rates high enough, you get to the point where people can't afford the interest on the home, or they can afford the interest on a home if they, instead of buying a $300,000 home, to buy a $225,000 home. So they figure that if people are not able to afford the more expensive home, and this is just a number that I picked. I mean, you
Right.
could have picked 600,000, and whatever you want. But if people can't afford a certain price and they have to buy something less expensive because the interest rate is so high, then maybe some of the prices that they can't afford will start to pull back.
Okay.
That's their theory
Thinking, the
behind
theory.
it.
All right.
Yeah. So far, ain't working.
It's not working.
It's
Okay.
not working, because all it's doing is that if they can't afford the $400,000 home, they're buying the $300,000 home, and the available homes at that price level are disappearing because the people that I would be selling that $300,000 home don't want to replace their 3% or 4% mortgage with an 8% mortgage to
Right.
buy another piece of property. So they just renovate their current home a little bit more. So they're removing certain price ranges of homes from the market, and the more expensive homes are, there's just nothing there. That's why home builders are doing so well.
Yes.
Because they're building a
Building.
lot of houses because there's no inventory, not enough inventory of existing homes for sale.
All right. Good answer. Good answer. So, it's good. So what
Always
I
a
heard
good-
was,
always a good
was
answer
basically
for
right. And that must explain why it must be on a daily basis where I get cards in my mailbox
Right.
from every kind of realtor. We wanna buy your home,
Oh yeah, we
and
get
it's,
it.
it's from everybody.
We get,
Yeah.
we get one guy calls us every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah.
Call,
He
and,
said-
and you're right. Keep those cards and letters
It's
coming
coming.
in.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Call us. We'll it's always no closing costs. We do all the work. Blah blah
Yeah.
Sure.
blah. And it's all profit for you, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, okay, the first 10 million takes it, and they never get back to me.
They don't, huh? Yeah.
I don't understand it. But all right, so that's what's going on there. Other things going on. Boy, bad crash on Route 95 yesterday in North Attleboro, where someone died.
Yes.
Happened. And that's exactly the way I go home.
Is it?
But I was not on the highway at that time when the crash took place around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Northbound on Route 95, a 3-car collision, and 1 car takes off. But they ended up catching up to that person. But someone died. A man from Foxborough died at that crash. They did not release the name. He's 58 years old, though. And it shut down Route 95 going north. And it didn't shut down 95 south, but it slows things down
Right.
going in that direction. And in that part of 95, boy, once you start backing stuff up, it backs stuff up on the 295 going north. And then you got to back up all the way into Rhode Island
Right.
because you're
Right.
really relatively close.
Yes.
So, but they ended up reopening 95 north around 8 o'clock last night. So yeah, pretty bad accident that happened there. All right, well, I guess the biggest news out of the Rhode Island yesterday was what took place in Barrington yesterday. First day of school for Barrington was yesterday, and here are all the parents that are putting their little kids, and we're talking kindergarten.
Little ones, yeah.
Going to school. Now, them going to school was fine. No issues there. It was the coming home part that was the issue. And so the small children get on the school bus to go home, and the bus driver got lost. Now, that's not. I can understand getting lost, and you really shouldn't. But as things go, because I was mentioning it to Dave. When I was growing up, I took the bus to school all the time. The people driving the bus actually lived in the town.
Yeah.
So they knew all the roads.
And the
getting
kids.
lost, and the kids, too. And getting lost was never an option.
Mm-hmm.
But things are different now.
Never an option.
Well,
I think I'm going to get lost today.
we never thought that the bus driver didn't know where they were going, kind of thing. But then nowadays, they're going to take someone from let's say Coventry. And drive over to Barrington and now drive these kids home, but they don't know the town
Right.
or the roads. So I can understand you getting lost. This is what I don't understand. One, in every Rhode Island school bus, there's the bus driver and there's the monitor. How does the monitor not know
Right.
where they're usually from the town? It's usually a parent. And why can't they mention to the bus driver, hey, you're going the wrong way? Hey, we're in another town. They did end up in Warren. Have you noticed we're in the wrong town? Okay.
Yeah.
But the story I read had nothing to do with the monitor. It wasn't part of the story at all. The real issue, part of the problem is they didn't tell the bus company that they were lost for a while. And now the parents were getting upset.
Well, they call the police.
And the police were surprised to find out a bus is missing.
Yes.
What? Because they weren't told by the school
They weren't-
department.
And the school department wasn't told by the bus company.
That's right. So,
yeah.
some people are really
Really bad.
angry
Yeah. Well,
in the city of town of
I
Barrington.
can imagine being a parent of one of those kindergarten kids.
So what they do?
You panic.
He or she. Who's driving the bus? Was it a man or a woman?
I
Do you
think
know?
it was a woman.
Okay. She's so lost that the bus company sent another bus. to go find her and then take all the kids from the original bus and put them on the second bus with a driver that knows the town. And, okay, I'm going to go drop these kids off. You, the original one, you go back to the bus terminal and get your comeuppance and try to explain what went wrong. We're going to go drop the kids off. Okay, so off they go. Remember, it's the first day yesterday. Now they're dropping kids off at the wrong bus stops.
Yes, they are.
Well, what
Yeah.
happens is the kids are upset.
Yeah, of course
They're
they are.
they're crying, and you ask a kid that's 5
5 years old.
where their address is. They're not going to know. All they know is that bus stop with a bunch of adults. My mom's not there. My dad's not there. Yet they were getting let off. Get off the bus.
Well, see, that's the other thing,
That's
too.
another problem.
That's another problem. You know, they're supposed to have people waiting to pick the, you know, they're not supposed to just drop them off.
Right.
Somebody should be receiving these kids.
And usually they are. And but you know, I don't know if the kids would say, "Hey, that's not one of my parents." Well, get off anyway.
No.
So I read the story was on Channel 12. It's down way at the end. It's
Yeah.
kind of pretty funny that the original bus driver will be reassigned. And I said, "Yeah, reassigned to Walmart."
Yeah, right, yeah.
You're,
And
you're
you know,
outta here.
the sadness is there's such a shortage of school bus drivers,
Right.
so that maybe not as particular as they used to be. And you're right. It used to be the bus driver used to be somebody from town.
Yeah.
That everybody knew.
Yeah.
And that bus driver knew all these parents of these kids, and you know, but times are changing.
Times have changed, and it's just, and we were talking about it off the air. You know, Ed brought it up. Is well, where's the GPS?
Right.
I mean, there should be a GPS on there.
At least, if not something from the bus company, something from your own
Right.
phone. And as soon as you know when you're changing towns, there are signs up.
Well,
You
yes.
should-
It says
stop,
welcome to.
welcome to whatever. Oh my gosh, I am in
Stop
the
in
wrong.
us directions.
Or at least turn around
Turn around. And you
and
know,
go back. At least be in the right town.
in most towns, I know, I bet in Woonsocket, I know in North Smithfield, you see the bus drivers out before it's time to pick up the kids, before school starts, driving the route to know exactly where you're going, where you're going to stop, and things like that. I guess that wasn't done.
Maybe
Or
they-
it
maybe
wasn't,
they
the
didn't have it that
information was
time.
not retained.
Yeah. So they're going to have more training.
More training.
And
yeah.
the superintendent
Looks
and
like you're
and the police chief and the bus company, they're all gonna have a little meeting today.
Well, that.
And to
Well,
get-
you know, I mean, especially in this day and age, I can imagine those parents. Your child is not coming home.
Well,
and
now-
the bus is. Where's the bus? And
Yeah.
all these things go through your head. Were they
now
kidnapped?
there was an accident.
Yeah, no.
But now it's
Or
the
not.
next day. Now it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, elementary school starts what, 8:39?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they should
How,
be picking up.
as a parent,
Yeah.
how are you going to get your child, who was scared to death yesterday,
Well, yes.
to get back
get
on a
back
bus?
on a bus. Exactly.
Then say, well, don't worry. What
You're not-
happened yesterday is not going to
not
happen
gonna
today.
happen
Well, how
today.
can you guarantee that? Well,
You
we
can't.
can't.
You can't.
But take mom and dad's word for it.
Yeah. Well, I bet there's a lot of parents driving their kids to school
I
today.
bet there are today. Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's going to be 3 kids on the bus.
Yeah. Exactly.
Today.
No.
You know, high school is different. Junior high is different. They know where they live. They know how to get. Well,
Well,
they should know.
they could also give directions to the.
They have their own GPS.
yeah, they could tell the
How
bus
do,
driver.
how do I get to South Main Street?
Where-
Well,
where to
okay, go
get
up, take a
there,
right,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So
But it said she took a wrong turn.
yeah, okay, turn around.
No, and then they said she kept going till she thought it was safe to turn around or something. But I'm like,
Pull into the Walmart parking lot and turn around.
yeah, right, exactly.
All right. Well, that's what happened in Barrington yesterday. Glad no one was injured, no kids were hurt,
No,
so that was good. They were
no,
shook
but-
up, but
no,
and
the
the
poor
parents were shook
kids,
up.
yeah.
But that's what
Yeah.
happened yesterday in Barrington. All right. On that note, let's take another break, or our first break, and Ed Cruz got another message from the Carew Investment Group.
Okay, thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. 765-8880 is our phone number. Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for our quality investment approach using conservative investments, give us a call at 765-8880. You can call Paul or me at that number. Integrity, trust, service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Very good, Ed, and more of the Coffee and program coming your way. Please stick around.
Rhode Islanders need a strong and effective leader in Congress, and more importantly, someone they can trust. I'm Stephen Casey. As a 17-year first responder with the Woonsocket Fire Department, I will never forget where I came from or who I work for. In my 10 years in leadership at the State House, I've brought people together from competing interests to find compromise and common ground, which is what this country needs. I'm Stephen Casey. I'm asking for your vote now through September 5th. You've counted on me. Now I hope I can count on you.
Paid for Casey for Congress.
I'm Stephen Casey, and I approve this message.
Hi, my name is Marie. I'm chairperson for the St. Agatha's Annual Yard Sale, which is on 34 Joffrey Avenue in Woonsocket. It's actually in the Church Hall in the back on Fairfield Avenue. It is on September 8th and September 9th, which is Friday and Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Items include housewares, linens, books, small appliances, holiday, electronics, tools, religious items, baby, toys, and a new make and offer section. We're hoping you can come and bring a friend.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
We're local and live at 99.5.
All right, it's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew and Linda Tebow. I don't know if you heard of this story, but back to Massachusetts. I'm sure you've been by it at least once on Route 1. You can't miss the helicopter that's out front.
Yeah.
The MASH helicopter.
Yes.
Okay, it's an Army Navy. It's a GI
Yes.
Joe Army Navy
G.I.
store.
Joe, yeah.
Okay, the owner of the store is accused of trying to set the store on fire.
Saw that.
Like, wow, that's
Yeah.
something you don't see. Fire broke out on August 1st. The business owner, Vicky Bertelson, was identified as the suspect. She pleaded not guilty to the charge. She's free on bond, pending her next court date, which comes up at the end of October. Despite the building avoiding structural damage, the decision has been made to permanently close. So what do we do with the helicopter that's out front? And how did they ever get that thing?
How'd they get it?
I'm sure it's an
that's
original MASH helicopter
You
from the
think-
Korean War.
Well, but you know, I remember the VFW in Forestdale had a tank
Yeah.
out front.
I
And
wonder
somebody stole it.
Someone stole the tank?
Somebody stole it, yeah. And they found it in the woods somewhere. So, yeah, I guess you can get things like that.
Yes, we're just talking about the Army Navy store that's on Route 1 in North Attleboro that's got the helicopter out in front.
Yeah.
Okay. The allegedly that the owner set the store on fire. And and they didn't do what they thought it was going to do. The fire was put out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But they've decided to close the store permanently. She's going to be due back in court. She's pleaded not guilty. She'll be back on October 27th. But we're just wondering, what do we do with that MASH helicopter that was out front?
You want a helicopter? Ed? You have enough property.
The horses will love it.
We get a helicopter that flies right over our property often.
Yeah.
Because of the cranberry bogs, they
Oh, yeah?
fertilizer. They come down real low.
Yeah.
Right over there, right over the property. Yeah.
In my town of Mansfield, we have a small airport like North Central, so
Oh, sure.
that's where the MedFlight helicopters
Yeah.
take off from.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah,
see those things
yeah.
take off to go. All right, back in Massachusetts, and so Tufts University, like every college that has a residence hall, there's a residence director, and then there's the RAs.
RAs, yeah.
The resident
Yeah.
assistants,
Yeah.
and then there are the residents.
Yeah.
So if there's an issue between the students, they go to the RA first before it goes to the residence director. Okay. Now that we get that straight. 40 resident assistants at Tufts University, they're threatening to strike if the school won't pay them a stipend. Okay, first of all,
I thought they got a stipend.
well they don't
Well, they-
actually get cash.
They get room and board or
They
something?
get their room
Yeah,
and board is
their
free.
Dorm fees.
So here's what you owe. Here's the tuition. Here are the fees. Okay, take off the room and board fees for
Okay,
you
the-
because
the
you're the RA.
dorm fees.
Well, now they
okay.
want cash.
Oh,
And but you already get. This just reminds me, sports. Your football players and your basketball players. They don't get a stipend, but they get some get a full ride, and then you hear some of them. Well, we want money too.
yeah.
And I just don't.
And those athletes also
I
get
don't agree with-
free tutoring. Oh, by the way, too.
Yes. So today is move-in day for first-year students at Tufts University, and the RAs are supposed to be there to help the new people move in.
Yeah,
They
sure.
might not be there. Although Tufts, a spokesperson for Tufts University said the university is committed to bargaining in good faith. So it looks like they might actually get some cash out of the deal. And I'm trying to remember because I lived on campus at Rhode Island College and we had RAs and I knew they got the free room and board, but I also thought those RAs, while also going to school, also had a job on campus as well, and that's where they got their money.
Yeah,
I'm not positive about that.
yeah.
But that's also a possibility. And I remember my father said, Joe, why don't you look into being an RA? And I went, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why not? I said, the RAs, they're all nice to you at the beginning of the year, but Dad, they're the narcs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those people get avoided
Yeah, yeah.
because they're always looking for what you're doing
Wrong.
illegally,
Yeah,
what you're
catch
doing
it
wrong.
yeah.
And I don't mean like, illegal, like drugs or something like
Yeah.
that. Or, but our RAs always had to look out who was drinking alcohol.
Sure.
It was supposed to be a dry campus.
Yeah,
Who was using, who had a flame, who had a candle burning,
yeah,
who had the microwave. Microwaves weren't allowed back then.
yeah.
Who had the hot pot? That would be me.
Yeah.
And they were always on the lookout for
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I know, because this is what I used to do. 2 and 3 in the morning. That's when you went and washed the hot pot. Everyone was sleeping.
Yeah, right.
Well, we had an RA that used to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning and walk around just to catch people doing this. I said, "You're taking your job way too seriously."
Yeah.
He never caught me, but he caught somebody else in
Yeah.
my area that was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
He was washing the hot pot at 3 in the morning, and he got caught. And you get the rule was warning the first time. If you get the same warning a second time in the same semester, you had to talk to the resident director. If you got a third warning, then you had to go talk to the housing guy,
Yeah. Then
who
you
was
could
even
get
higher up.
booted
He was kicking you out.
Yeah, you
That was basically what he was doing.
Kicked out of the dorm.
Yeah. So he said, "Yeah, you're taking your job way too seriously. If you got nothing better to do at 3 in the morning than just go around and trying to catch people doing something wrong." Although we had the cool RAs. Rick had their dorm set up as suites,
Yeah.
10 people to a suite, and the door was shut to the outside, and he would be at the door, rattling his keys, and banging on the door. "Gee, I can't find my keys. Oh, I've dropped them.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to be opening up the door in about 10 seconds," letting us all know to scatter everything and put everything away that wasn't supposed to be out. He was a cool guy. And he'd walk through. "Hey, how's everybody tonight?" "Everybody's fine." "Oh, great. See you later. Bye." That was good stuff. All right. Let's see. The Block Island Hotel fire. Governor Dan McKee says his administration has put in a request to help them out so they can get loans from the U.S. Small Business
Yeah.
Administration. It also, not only did that fire shut down the Harborside Inn, it shuttered several neighboring stores. I wasn't
Sure.
aware of that.
Yeah.
Did they get smoke damage? Is that what happened there?
I think, yeah, and they said, well, some of the local businesses were damaged. They said, yeah,
From
with
that
the
fire?
smoke from the fire. Yeah.
Okay. So their loan applications can be mailed to the Small Business Administration, or they can
Well, that's
file it
good.
online. So they can. I guess I wonder if they'll rebuild. We're gonna. Well, we can't.
The hotel?
It's gonna be demolished.
Oh, I'm sure they'll rebuild.
So I'll have to build
Yeah.
something brand new.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it
Won't
won't
have
be.
the same character, but
It won't. It can't.
Yeah.
But maybe you get a new Best Western, or a nice Quality Inn.
yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with those kind of
No.
those
but-
kind of
Oh,
establishments,
thank
but that's what
Yeah.
that's what might be coming.
Yeah.
So, all right. I don't know. Ed, did you hear about this yesterday? Up in Boston, they got that whole Mass Cass area where the tents are set up
Oh, yeah,
with the homeless. Well, a Boston city councilor, a woman, decided to go visit there
Yeah.
personally to see what was going on.
Yeah.
She went there on her own. She steps out of her car. She got mugged. Immediately when she got out of her car, one of the homeless came up to her and stole her phone right out of her hand and took off. Now, they do say, because somehow she got some help, and they got a hold of police, and they were able to track down her phone. I guess let's give it a call. We'll see what starts ringing amongst the tents.
Use the Find My Phone feature.
There you go. But I'm thinking, why did she go there?
I was going to say
On
that
her
was an
own.
error in judgment on her part.
At least bring one police officer
Yeah.
or two,
Yeah.
or
Somebody else. And
at
even,
least somebody else
Yeah.
to help you out.
Yeah.
No, she decided to
No,
go
she
there on her
probably
own.
figured she'd make a name for herself and endear herself to those folks. Do we have an election coming up?
I think we do, because that woman that crashed her car, remember that was speeding?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
that's right,
She's
yeah.
up for re-election.
Oh,
so,
there you
so they
go.
all might be up for re-election
Yeah,
in
yeah.
October there for the
Yeah.
Boston City Council.
Yeah, that's an error in judgment on her part.
Yeah, she
for
won't do
sure.
that again, right?
I would hope not.
All right, so that's that happened over the weekend. She
Oh,
decided to go.
wow.
I need to go check out this whole Mass Cass area. And Ed, have you heard what are they going to do with that? Have you heard what they might want to do? Do they want to go in and just push everyone out? Are you following
was
that story
big.
at
Well,
all?
they want to get them a place to live, before they make them leave.
Okay, have they found a place?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Want me to go up to Boston and check it out?
No, don't go.
Not on your own. No.
They might steal your Genesis. Don't do that.
It'll warn me. Don't go there.
It's out of
Don't
the.
go
That's right.
there.
It's out of the 50-foot
No,
range.
don't go there.
Well, the governor of Massachusetts, her state secretary of transportation, is stepping down.
Yeah. Sheriff Fiandaca. Yeah.
Is it Cheryl or Gina?
Really?
I've got Gina Fiandaca.
Well,
Anyway,
whoever.
it's a Fiandaca, and
Fiandaca.
she was only on the job for 8 months. Makes you wonder. So, but no reason was given for her decision to step down. She's the first member of Governor Maura Healey's cabinet to leave. Healey was out of state at the governor's conference yesterday. Did not comment on the decision. So, I don't know. Now, back to Boston. Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, she's filed an ordinance. It would ban tents and other temporary structures at the Mass Cass area. And that's all that's there is tents.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw the picture of it.
They want to prevent dangerous activity in the area as the colder months approach. Wu says the tents, tarps, and other temporary structures undermine the ability of providers to safely deliver services to residents in need. The ordinance is one of several new steps offered by the mayor in an effort to address the homeless and drug addiction crisis in the Mass Cass area. I don't know. We'll have to see if what goes on there, if this will work. I don't know. And I wonder if they're going to come in with bulldozers. Remember when this took place in Woonsocket? They just came in with the bulldozers and
Yeah.
pushed it all out.
Push them all up.
I
yeah.
just wonder if
You
the-
know, and
if the
I
same
think
thing's
all the
coming.
politicians are trying to be nice because it doesn't look good that you're kicking the people out of the only thing that they have, but provide an alternative, as
Well,
you
yeah.
were saying, an alternative site for them. You know, well, and then didn't Mora declare a state of emergency because of all the immigrants?
The homeless crisis, yes.
Yeah, well, not only that, so many immigrants coming in, and they can't even care for the ones that people that.
I don't
live
know
there.
if you heard
Yeah.
another like 1,000
Yeah.
illegal immigrants
Yeah.
were sent here by Ron DeSantis,
Yeah. Right.
and now they're deciding to put those people up in Foxborough,
Is that where they're going?
in hotels in Foxborough. And I said, well, probably not at the hotel. It's at Patriot Place. That one's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a $300 a
Yeah.
night hotel.
Yeah.
You're going to go down the road on Route 1, and there's plenty of there's a Quality Inn on Route 1 where I'm sure they're going to go. And everything's being paid for by whatever money they're getting for the U.S. government. The problem is the school system in Foxborough will now
Can't-
be inundated
Right.
very soon.
Yeah.
They don't go back to school till next week
Yeah.
with hundreds of new kids are showing up in the school system next week.
Also, transportation for these folks when they have to go for services and everything, it's a huge issue.
They're gonna have to reroute the bus route.
Well, the bus routes
Go
for
out
the
onto
kids.
Route 1 and pick up the
but
kids
not
at the
only
hotel.
that, you can put them in those hotels
Yep.
that you know, but how are they going to get to places that they need to get to for services that they may need, or
Is
how
that-
to get them?
Is that
Do you
really
kn-
the government's call on that one? I mean, there's
Well,
Ubers,
I think it
there's
is. You're
taxis.
accepting them, and so
But it's not. Is it our job to transport them now too?
ask more, the governor. But I'm thinking that if you allow them, yes, if you're going to accept them, you're responsible for.
Ed, is it the government's job to not only provide some housing but to provide transportation too?
I don't know about that, but I mean, I see other problems besides just that. I mean, you get
Food.
school,
School's
police
big.
protection, fire protection,
protection.
availability of health care.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
that's the services that I'm talking about that they need to go. How are they going to get there?
Oh, that's getting
know,
there, but
that's
I'm
what I
talking
mean.
about trying to get the health care.
Right,
You call you
exactly.
call a doctor or somebody
Yeah.
now that you've never been to
Yeah.
before.
Right,
Even if
you
it's somebody
can't-
you have been to
you
before,
can't.
you
Right,
don't.
exactly.
Your next appointment is in 6 weeks or something.
Right, exactly.
Or longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming up. Time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Unbound.org.
Cloudy skies today with a high of 75 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms are 70% likely. Cloudy skies, overnight low of 66. Between a quarter and a half an inch of rain is possible overnight. Wednesday's weather, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Up to 3/4 of an inch of rain is possible. Cloudy skies, of course, with a high of 77. Thursday, sunshine returns in 73. Friday, sunshine in 76. Saturday, sunshine in 78. Sunday, sunshine in 82. And on Labor Day Monday, sunny skies and 85 degrees.
Currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have cloudy skies with 68 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org. Parents, as you know, there's a lot to get done to get your kids ready for back to school. New clothes, new sneakers, maybe a new backpack. Plus, notebooks and other supplies need to be rounded up. Now, in the middle of all of this, remember to get your kids a back-to-school haircut at Edge Barbershop and Hair Salon. Kids 10 and under can get a fantastic back-to-school haircut for just $18. Stop into Edge Barbershop and Hair Salon today, and Jen, Celeste, or Angel will be ready to serve you. No appointment needed. Edge Barbershop and Hair Salon on Pulaski Boulevard, Bellingham, your full-service barbershop for men, women, and children. Get that back-to-school haircut today.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruz and Bruce Palmer inviting you to join me for the Saturday Block Party. It's every Saturday from 4 until 7 p.m. when we fill the airwaves with the songs you want to hear. It's a party in every sense of the word, so join me live on 99.5 and 1240 a.m. or bring the show with you wherever you go at onworldwide.com.
All right, it's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Joe Callahan here with Ed Carew, Linda Tebow, and we're being joined at the Coffee and table today by Do we go? Do we say former congressman? Do we say congressman? Do we say
just say David, private
or
citizen.
Private citizen David Cicilline is joining us here at the Coffee and Table. As you know, Dave is the CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation.
Yes.
Now, and you've had that job just for a couple of months. You started July 1st?
Yes.
Was the time you started
I'm
that?
sorry, June
Okay.
1st.
June 1st. Okay. So just to start off with, first of all, how you doing?
Great.
Everything
Thank
good?
you for having me. It's great to be back, and to be with Ed and Linda is a special treat.
Because were you congressman when Linda was a town administrator in North Smithfield?
I think she was at the senior center when we first
Right,
met.
that's when
Yeah.
we first
Oh,
met.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And then you're meeting Ed here for the first time?
Yes.
All right. Very good. For those people that are not familiar with the Rhode Island Foundation and what they do, tell us, what do they do?
Yes, thank you. So I'm proud to be here, be back here at the radio station, but in my new role for the first time as the president and CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation. And the Rhode Island Foundation is one of America's oldest and largest community foundations, and that means we steward resources from the community and we're the largest funder of nonprofits. We focus in three particular areas, making sure every Rhode Islander has access to a quality public education, improving access to affordable quality health care, and creating economic opportunities for all Rhode Islanders. So those are our three main areas of focus, but we also support efforts to reduce hunger and arts and cultural organizations and housing and everything in between, because we're the only community foundation in the state. We're statewide, and I'm actually in Woonsocket today as part of my effort in my first 90 days to really travel across the state, so people understand what we do, to look, visit some places we've made investments in, and to kind of look at it with a fresh set of eyes. I've obviously spent a lot of time in Woonsocket as a member of Congress representing this great city, but I'm back here with kind of new responsibilities as the leader of the Community Foundation. So it's kind of a fresh look at some of the challenges, some of the opportunities. But the Rhode Island Foundation is a community foundation that belongs really to the community. Our responsibility is to improve the life of Rhode Islanders, and I feel very honored to have the privilege of serving as the president and CEO.
All right, great. Dave and Linda, feel free to just jump in. I don't want to hog this to myself. If you have a question for Dave, go right ahead. So one of the questions is if the Rhode Island Foundation is the largest funder for nonprofits in Rhode Island, where does the Rhode Island Foundation get their money from to give to the nonprofits?
So it comes from a variety of different areas. They come from generous donors. Sometimes people will make direct contributions to the Rhode Island Foundation. They can be small or large. Sometimes people will leave resources to the Rhode Island Foundation in their will because they have confidence that it will be used wisely and that it will be invested in things that will improve people's lives. Sometimes people will create a fund in honor of a child they've lost, God forbid, or in honor of or to really make investments in a particular region of the state. We have something called the Newport County Fund, which is donors who are particularly interested in Newport County. So it can be any number of reasons that someone will create a fund. Sometimes they'll create scholarships. We just gave out almost $4 million in scholarships to Rhode Island students to go to college. So sometimes people will create a scholarship because their education has meant so much to them. Sometimes people have a particular passion. If it's animals or arts, they'll create a fund to support organizations that do work in that area. We have a lot of folks that care a lot about less fortunate Rhode Islanders, and so they want to be sure that people have access to food or housing, and so they'll make contributions to support those things. So we sort of have something for everyone, but the short answer is it's the generosity of Rhode Islanders. It's people who recognize they've had some blessing in life, and they want to give back to the state that they love, and they want to be sure that it's done well and that the resources are managed well, and that someone is making a critical judgment about where that money should go and how it can be best used to have the greatest impact on Rhode Islanders.
All right, very good. Now, when you were congressman, you were in you represented District 1. Now, when you travel around the state of Rhode Island, of course, it's the entire state, when you go into towns that were in District 2, do the people know you? They
Yes.
say, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody knows Dave.
They do. I mean, so far, as you know, before serving in Congress for 12 years, I served as mayor of Providence for 8, and as the capital city of our state, I think people knew me from that time as well. But not everyone. So it's an opportunity, and certainly not everyone knows about the Rhode Island Foundation.
Right.
And so one of the reasons I'm out in the community is to learn about the work we're doing, but also to make people understand what we do at the Rhode Island Foundation. And I think a lot of people who know it have a lot of respect for it because it's made a real difference. But there's a lot of people who haven't had interactions with the Rhode Island Foundation. And so I want people to know what we're doing, the investments we're making, the organizations we're supporting. I was in Westerly last week. I'm covering the whole state because we work all across Rhode Island. And our endowment at the Rhode Island Foundation, as I said, is one of the largest of community foundations in the country. And so we have an opportunity to have real impact because we cover the whole state. And also, one of the things we're doing more and more of is what we call civic leadership. And that is really to use the standing and the prestige of the Rhode Island Foundation to affect real change in our state in a positive way. And so that's why we've convened a group to put together a housing plan to address the housing crisis in our state. We've had a long-term planning group working on education. We're doing some work to help support reforms of our healthcare system because we can bring people together as kind of a neutral party to say, like, this is a problem, bring the best minds together
Sure.
and come up with solutions. So that civic leadership is also a really important role of the Rhode Island Foundation.
You liking the new job as CEO?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great to be in an organization with really hardworking people that are trying to really make a difference in Rhode Island. Everyone's working in the same direction, partnering with great nonprofits. And for me, the best part of the job is I get to come home, be in the state that I love, and work on issues that really matter to me that I've worked on for 30 years, but in a place where you can actually see the impact of your work. Almost like when I was mayor, like you'd actually make an investment and you visit the program and you see the benefits.
You see the results.
And, sometimes in Congress that was hard to see. This is
Yeah.
much more immediate. So it's been great.
How many people work for the Rhode Island Foundation?
51.
Okay. And they all like you?
If they don't, they haven't told me yet. I hope to, I've always been very lucky to have great people that I've worked with, great colleagues in
All
all
right.
my offices, and I feel like I have great colleagues now, and hopefully they feel the same way.
All right. Do you miss going down to Washington and being part of Congress and being part of the whole scene down there?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I loved every day I served. It was the greatest honor of my life, and it's such a privilege. And I want to say especially thank you to the residents of Woonsocket who embraced me and supported me and welcomed me for the 12 years that I was in office, and I will never forget them for that. And I miss some of my colleagues, and I loved the work. I wasn't looking for a new job, but this opportunity was presented to me, and I was really convinced, and I'm even more convinced now, having been there for a couple of months, that this was a place I could have an even greater impact on Rhode Island, on the state that I loved. I got involved in politics because I wanted to do something to make life better for the people I served, and it's the same motivation that made me take this position. And I'm sure here I'm going to have an even greater impact on the whole state than I would have been able to do staying in Congress. So I know it was the right thing, but I loved being in Congress. It was a great job. I miss my colleagues. I do stay in touch with
good.
many of them, so those friendships will continue.
As you look at what's going on down in Washington, do you ever say to yourself, I wish I was there because I would do it this way? Or does it go the other way and say, gee, I'm so glad I don't have to be part of that anymore?
No, I mean, the good news is my new job has kept me really busy because, when you're learning a new job in a new
Yeah.
organization, even though I've worked on the issues of healthcare and housing and economic opportunity and education in a variety of different ways for 30 years, it's different in the community foundation. And so I've spent the first 90 days really listening to every member of my staff and to grantees and to donors. So it's learning a new job is also very time consuming. And so that's really been my focus. And while I miss some of the friendships and some of the work, I obviously don't miss all the fighting.
Yeah,
It's sort
right.
it's sort of nice working environment where everyone's trying to get good
Pulling in
stuff
the,
done.
everyone's
pulling
rowing in the same
Exactly,
direction.
exactly.
Well, that's good. Now, I know it's early because you got the new job and all, but you ever look like down the road, maybe after you retire, maybe you'll try again and run again?
My focus right now is being the best community foundation president I can be, and I've had the privilege of already meeting community foundation CEOs from around the country, and learning from them, and they're going to learn some good stuff from us. So I want to, I've sort of always put all my energy in the job I have, and I'm going to do that here. And it's sort of for the foreseeable future, this is going to be my career, and I hope I'll get as good a reputation as a CEO and president of the Round Foundation as I had as in an elective office. And
Okay, great. Well, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program. More coming your way. If you have a question or comment for Dave Cicilline, by all means, give us a call, 766-1240. We'll pass it along to him.
Rhode Islanders need a strong and effective leader in Congress, and more importantly, someone they can trust. I'm Stephen Casey. As a 17-year first responder with the Woonsocket Fire Department, I will never forget where I came from or who I work for. In my 10 years in leadership at the State House, I've brought people together from competing interests to find compromise and common ground, which is what this country needs. I'm Stephen Casey. I'm asking for your vote now through September 5th. You've counted on me. Now I hope I can count on you.
Paid for, Casey for Congress.
I'm Stephen Casey, and I approve this message.
I love our Rhode Island shoreline, but our location makes us vulnerable to hurricanes and tropical storms. It's important to be prepared as best we can before the storm hits. You can help by knowing your risks, getting flood insurance, and being familiar with your evacuation route. Let's all do our part to be hurricane strong. The steps we take today can help minimize damage tomorrow. Learn more at riema.ri.gov.
Brought to you by Governor Dan McKee and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Hi, this is Noel Pinsence. Myself and Reverend Ryan Simus will present a fabulous show by Father Pat from La Salette Shrine. It will take place on Sunday, September 10th, and that is Grandparents' Day at 3:30. The doors will open at 3 p.m. at St. Joseph Church, Mendon Road in Woonsocket. Father Pat will present inspiring music. This event is sponsored by the Pepin family. Pre-sale tickets on sale now, $10 at Pepin Lumbers on Cumberland Hill Road. The day of the concert, $12. Cash only, no checks or credit cards. The address for Pepin Lumber, 830 Cumberland Hill Road. And we're going to help New Beginning Soup Kitchen and the St. Joseph Cupboard. Hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Joanne Borsier Hebert, calling for all classmates of Woonsocket High School class of 1978. Come help us celebrate our 45th reunion at Bella's Restaurant in Glendale, Friday, September 15th from 5 to 10. Looking forward to sharing memories of our past and creating new ones. Please call Linda Barad Senecal at 401-766-3134 for more information. We also have a Facebook page, Woonsocket High Class of 1978, to find out more information also. Hope to see you there.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio, and we thank you for joining us. My name is Joe Callahan, here with Ed Carew, Linda Tebow, and we're being joined by the CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation. You might know him, David Cicilline. And so now you're up in Woonsocket today. Besides coming here and joining us, which I'm sure was your first priority.
of course.
What else will you be doing in Woonsocket today?
So I'll be visiting NeighborWorks Blackstone River Valley, and you all know the work that they do here. And then we are going to, remember our schedule here. Going to the Elijah Project Food Warehouse. Elijah Project does just incredible things. We're going to Progreso Latino to talk about some economic development opportunities, and then Blackstone Valley Prep High School. So we'll kind of do a bunch of site visits of places we've made investments and agencies or organizations we've supported. But I was just talking to Linda off the air and reminded of all the wonderful times we had at the Woonsocket Senior Center. So I just want to say thank you again to the residents there who fed me, danced with me. What else? Sang,
and you had to pick the king and the queen of
Yes.
the senior prom that
That's
year.
right,
Remember
that's
that?
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How'd you pick them?
Talent,
Talent,
beauty,
okay.
dance ability.
Dance ability.
You should, if you have time, you should stop in today just to say
Yeah,
hi.
yeah.
Should they be they'd be
We'll put
thrilled
that
to
on your
hear?
list
Yeah.
next
Yes,
time you come to
yes.
Woonsocket.
Now, earlier this summer, you were in Woonsocket. You were with the Community Care Alliance.
Yes, I was so thrilled to be there at the rededication of the building named after Josie Bird, who's been such a force of nature here in Woonsocket and a wonderful friend to me. It was such a thrill. I was there in my new role, and it was just great.
All right, that's fantastic.
And they do incredible work in this
Oh,
city.
yeah.
Have you seen what Community Care Alliance has done with that new Dignity bus?
Yes.
You've been following that story?
Yes, and the Community Care Alliance and the mayor and the council really deserve all the credit for the work they did to bring that here. We are supporting some of the operation at the Rhode Island Foundation, and happy to do so, but the folks from the community really drove that, and I just thank you for their compassion and caring and their commitment to this work, from the mayor to the council members who are part of that, as well as Community Care Alliance.
Have you ever met Ms. Gonzalez, the driving force,
I have.
bringing that up there?
I have. I think I've met every member of the Woonsocket City Council.
Oh,
one time or
okay.
another.
Well, she's a ball of energy.
Yes,
so.
no doubt. No doubt.
So that's good. So in your new role as a CEO of the Rhode Island Foundation, what are your plans for the future of the foundation? Where do you want to see it go and do?
So I've spent, as I mentioned, the first 90 days really kind of learning about our current work, and I'm going to put together a process to create a strategic framework, kind of a work plan for us for the next several years. As part of that process, I'm going to be out in the community asking the community what they see as the urgent, most important needs we should address. My expectation is we'll continue to focus on 3 of the areas I mentioned and maybe add a couple. But I really want to be sure that we listen to the community, as we are a community foundation. We obviously have a first responsibility to also respond to the interests of our donors who provide the resources to do the work. But whatever we do, I think the next decade of the Rhode Island Foundation has to focus on having real impact. I think community foundations now have to show that what they're investing in is making a real difference in the lives of the people that we serve in Rhode Island. Because we're competing. People can donate money to lots of different causes. Now you can go online and make donations globally. So I think for community foundations to continue to be a force, we have to continue to show we're making a real difference. For example, we just recently invested $1.2 million in efforts to make the teacher workforce more diverse so that it reflects the communities they serve, because there's a lot of research that shows when kids have teachers that look like them, that come from communities of color, that enhances their performance. And so we have to continue to make the investments we're making in healthcare, in education, in creating economic opportunities, and we have to be able to continue to show that we're making a difference in the lives of Rhode Islanders. We, as I said, awarded almost $4 million in scholarships to allow Rhode Islanders to go on to college. So as long as we continue to do that work, I think we'll continue to have a great impact in Rhode Island. And I'm really looking forward to kind of developing this framework and launching the next, my predecessor was at the Rhode Island Foundation for 15 years, did a great job to build up this tremendous endowment. And now I think the next 15 years, we have to be sure that we're using that endowment in the most impactful way, making the biggest difference we can in the lives of all Rhode Islanders. And that's what I hope to do.
All right. Linda or Ed, do you have anything for David Cicilline at the moment?
No. Oh, well, don't forget the seniors, too.
Never. You
Don't
know
forget
that,
the
Linda. We'll
seniors.
never forget the
He
seniors.
never does. But you know, it's so much. We've put a lot of focus on the kids, especially after the lockdown with COVID and everything, and rightly so. But there's still an impact on the seniors that senior centers need to happen, and for the work that they do. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
one of the
really-
things I've always, and I think Linda will acknowledge this, that's always been incredibly important to me, is not only our seniors, but our veterans. And so
The veterans as well.
I'm going to definitely look for opportunities for the
Right.
Island Foundation to be more active in both those communities.
Right. I think that would be a great thing.
All right. Ed, anything
Yeah,
as you listen?
David, do you have one idea that isn't being implemented now that you could get really enthusiastic about to institute in
Yes.
your...
I have one idea. This is kind of a small one, but I think it's exciting. I would like to create at the Rhode Island Foundation a youth philanthropy committee. Raise some money to put it into a fund, and then have young people, maybe one representative from every city and town in Rhode Island, maybe a high school senior, and give them the responsibility of deciding what this money will go toward, what they see as the most pressing issues, have them develop the grant applications, have them review the grants, and have them make the decisions about the grants, to teach young people about the importance of philanthropy, of giving back, of being good stewards of resources to benefit the whole community. So that's one idea which I'd like to develop in my first couple of years at the Rhode Island Foundation.
Good idea.
All right. When you go
Keep
into
that between us, because I haven't gotten my board's approval yet. I'm a board now.
You can call it the Ed Carew.
There you go.
When you go into the nonprofit organizations around the state, have you run into any that say, I've never heard of the Rhode Island Foundation, and or anything like that, or where they're surprised that, hey, I can apply for money from this organization. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I've met, not everyone knows about the Rhode Island Foundation. We, during this kind of tour, have mostly visited organizations that have been grantees already, so they've already received funding through the Rhode Island Foundation. But I have definitely, in my first 2 months, come in contact with several very good organizations that are doing excellent work that don't have a relationship with the Rhode Island Foundation, and we're interested to learn more about it.
Oh, great.
And I see that as one of my responsibilities, to make certain that organizations, all the nonprofits that are doing good work, that need additional resources, that they understand they have an opportunity to compete for grants that we have, because we want to be sure we're making investments in the places that can have the most impact, that are doing the most good. And so kind of raising the profile of the Rhode Island Foundation so more people know about it is definitely one of my priorities.
All right, very good.
And being at important radio shows like this helps me do that. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
People listen, David.
Yes,
They
I
do.
know that.
They do listen.
So I know you're making the tours. Have you hit every town yet? Or
Not every town. But we've been to South County, we've been to Westerly, we've been to Providence, we've been to the East Bay. We're now in Woonsocket and part of Northern Rhode Island. So I've covered every area of the state. But obviously, those of you who know me know that I will continue to be out in the community a lot. I see this as a continuation of my service to Rhode Island, and that means being in the community, hearing directly from people about what the needs are, what the priorities are, what the urgent crises are, but also what ways we can make a difference. So you haven't gotten rid of me. You're going to still see a lot of me. For those of you who hoped, I was no longer in politics, I was going to go away. This is not that kind of a job.
All right. Is there someone on your staff that's actually planning where you're going to be going next?
Yes, we have a great communications department that helps kind of plan these sort of days. But people will see me. I go to events of organizations all the time because it's an important way to learn about their work and learn about the things they're doing. So that will continue, and it will always be a really important part of my job. I always say to people, it's the same in community foundations. Being out in the community is not just a luxury, and I love doing it. It's an essential part of the job.
Yeah.
Because you learn about what's on people's minds, what they worry about, what they see as important priorities, where they need help. It's the same in politics, but in a community foundation, the difference is you have the ability to bring some resources to bear and some talent to help solve problems. But it's the same important source of information. So, I see it as central to my job as the president CEO of a community foundation, to be in the community every day, every night, just collecting information about what the needs are, so I can go back to my work and be more effective.
And with your work at the Rhode Island Foundation, can you make things happen quicker than when you were in Congress, let's say, where you can get the money to an organization like within a month as opposed to 6 months or a year?
No, you definitely can. You're more nimble and you can move quicker. Obviously, the federal government has a lot more resources than a community foundation.
Well, sure.
But I think one of the advantages is we can respond quickly. We were very central to the disbursement of the ARPA funding. The state really came to the Rhode Island Foundation and said, can you take charge of this to get the money out? Because we could do so quickly. But even in our normal grant making, I think we can move more quickly than government sometimes, just because it's a community foundation and it doesn't have all the same requirements as government agencies. So that also means you have great responsibility to be sure you're doing it right, and making investments in organizations that are doing good work. And we have a great team that does the grant making and the evaluations, so we make sure that we do it right.
When you go into the different cities and towns, do you meet up with either the mayors or the town administrators of the town, who may point you in the direction, you really need to go see this organization? They could really use your help.
Yeah, we always include an invitation to the mayor or town administrator to one of our, we're in the community where they represent. They almost always come, unless their schedule doesn't permit it. But and obviously mayors are great resources in terms of knowing where the challenges are, where investments should be made, or what their priorities are. And we pay a lot of attention to what the General Assembly does, what the city and towns do, because we also like to align some of our giving to priorities of others. So you leverage more money into whether it's an education program or a housing program or food pantries. So yeah.
All right, very good. You can't have lunch at the Hokong today. They knocked it down yesterday, so it's just rubble now.
All good things come to an end.
Well,
yes,
yeah, but
sadly.
it's going to make a nice entrance into Cass Park when
Yeah.
it's finished. So
Yes.
when that's finished, come back and take a look
Yes,
at that.
definitely.
That's going to look
And
great.
if people are interested to learn more about the Rhode Island Foundation, we have
Mhm.
a great website, rhodeislandfoundation.org. Check it out and learn more about what we do.
Very good.
Thanks for having me.
We've come to the end of the program. We thank you for stopping by, David. Always nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
All right. And Ed Carew, thanks for coming in today.
Always a pleasure.
All right. And Linda Tebow, thanks for coming in. Sorry, she's
Oh,
we're kissing Dave bye. Thanks, Dave.
my pleasure as always.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay tuned. Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming away at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.
About 40 residents' assistants at Tufts University are threatening to strike today if the school won't pay them a stipend. Today is a move-in day for the first-year students. The Tufts Daily reported that RA's housing expenses are covered in return for supervising dormitories, but they are now saying they also want stipend compensation for their other responsibilities. A Tufts spokesperson says the university is committed to bargaining in good faith.